US Citizenship Test N-400 Tax and Employment Final Review. Part 3 Mistakes that can delay approval. Andrea and David are seated across from each other in a quiet office room. The conversation continues smoothly from parts 1 and 2. Andrea is now completing the final verification stage of the employment and tax-related portion of the N-400 interview.
We're going to finish this topic with final verification questions. My first question is short. Do you understand the penalties that can apply if someone reports incorrect or false information on their tax returns?
Yes, I understand. If the information is wrong, there can be penalties. That can mean paying extra money, interest, or having problems with the IRS. I know it's serious.
These penalties can apply even if the mistake was not intentional. Is that correct?
Yes, even if it's a mistake, it still needs to be fixed.
Have you ever been fined or penalized for reporting false or incorrect information?
No, never.
And you have never been accused of tax fraud? Yes or no?
No.
Earlier, you said you always review your returns carefully. Just to confirm, have you ever signed a return without reviewing it?
No, I always review it before I submit.
If you discovered today that a past return had a mistake that affected your taxes, what would you do?
I would correct it immediately. I would file an amended return and pay anything I owe. I wouldn't wait.
And you understand that waiting or ignoring it can create more penalties, correct?
Yes, I understand that.
You mentioned in Part 2 that you sometimes use tax software. Even when using software, who is responsible for the accuracy?
I am. The software helps, but I'm still responsible.
Good. One more follow-up. Do you believe all your past filings are accurate to the best of your knowledge today?
Yes. Based on what I reviewed and kept records of, they are accurate.
And you have no reason to believe any return was intentionally false. Yes or no?
Yes, no reason.
All right, thank you. Your answers are consistent with what you told me earlier. We'll now move to confirming repayment agreements and unresolved issues. My next question is about tax debts. Do you currently have, or have you ever had, unresolved tax debts or repayment agreements?
No unresolved debts. I had one short payment plan in the past, but it was fully paid.
That plan was completed, correct?
Yes, completed.
You are not in any repayment agreement now. Yes or no?
No.
Did you ever miss a payment under that agreement?
No, I followed it exactly.
After the final payment, did the IRS contact you again about that issue?
No, after it was paid, the issue was finished.
Just to confirm, you do not owe any federal, state, or local taxes right now.
That's correct.
Have you received any recent IRS letters requesting payment, documents, or corrections?
No, I haven't received any.
If you received a letter tomorrow, what would you do?
I would read it carefully and respond right away.
Have you ever had a tax lien placed against you?
No.
Any collection actions?
No.
And no wages taken or bank accounts frozen for taxes, correct?
Correct.
Earlier, you explained that your employment was stable after 2021. During that time, did you ever fall behind on taxes?
No. Since then, everything has been paid on time.
Good. One final confirmation. Do you have any tax obligations that are pending or under review right now?
No. Everything is current.
Thank you. Let's continue to how you avoid tax problems. Now I want to confirm your process. What steps do you take to avoid tax mistakes or fraud?
I keep everything organized. I save all my pay stubs, W-2 forms, and tax returns. I also keep digital copies so I don't lose anything.
Do you keep records for multiple years?
Yes, I keep them for several years.
Earlier, you said you did not have side jobs or informal work. Just to confirm, have you ever hidden income?
No.
Have you ever been asked by anyone to hide income or report something incorrectly?
No, never.
If someone did ask you, what would you do?
I would say no, I wouldn't agree to that.
You report all income, even small amounts, yes or no?
Yes.
Cash income as well?
Yes.
And you understand that not reporting income, even cash income, can be considered fraud.
Yes, I understand.
If a tax preparer made a mistake on your return, would that excuse you?
No, I know I'm still responsible.
And you would correct it immediately.
Yes.
Earlier, you mentioned checking employer documents. Do you compare your W-2 forms with your own records?
Yes, I check the amounts to make sure they match my pay stubs.
Have you ever found an error?
Once there was a small difference, and I contacted the employer. They fixed it.
Good. That shows attention to detail. One more follow-up. Do you believe your approach helps prevent problems during naturalization?
Yes, I think being organized and honest is important.
Thank you. We'll now move to the final confirmation. This is the final question for this topic. Is there anything unresolved in your tax or employment history that could affect your naturalization application?
No, everything is resolved.
You disclosed all employment, job changes, and gaps we discussed in parts 1 and 2, correct?
Yes.
You filed all required tax returns, yes or no?
Yes.
You corrected issues when needed and paid all amounts owed.
Yes.
You have no outstanding debts, penalties, liens, or investigations.
That's correct.
Is there anything you want to add or clarify before we close this section?
No, everything has been covered.
All right. Your answers have been consistent and clear across all three parts. This completes the employment history and tax compliance section of your N-400 interview. We'll now move on to the next part of your application. Vocabulary note: penalty, money charged for breaking tax rules; interest, extra money added over time; tax fraud, intentionally lying on tax forms; amended return, corrected tax filing; tax debt, unpaid taxes; repayment agreement, plan to pay taxes over time; tax lien, legal claim for unpaid taxes; collection action, enforced effort to collect taxes, records, save documents; compliance, following rules; a cash income, money paid directly; responsible, legally accountable; outstanding, not resolved; a verification, confirming information; a naturalization, becoming a US citizen; application, official request form. All right, David. Thank you for your clear and consistent answers. Based on everything we discussed today, your employment history and tax compliance appear complete and properly documented. I don't have any further questions on this section. We'll now move forward to the next part of your N-400 interview.